Hi everyone, welcome back to another video. My name's Daniel and thanks for joining me. In today's video I want to talk about authenticity. There's a lot of information out there already about this, but as always the information in these videos simply contain my perspective. All perspectives are valid, and if you resonate with this one, this is fantastic. If you don't, I strongly encourage you to go with the information that you do resonate with. And so with that being said, let's crack on with the video. Okay, so I'm just trying to think about where to start. I mean, the process of becoming authentic isn't so straightforward, especially when we're born into a world which really does its best to try and mold us into being a specific way or a certain way, from peer pressure to social constructs and the rest of it. You know, there's so many things in place already that do its best to almost like herd us into a specific box and to be a specific way. Some of us are born rebels, I guess, me being very much one of them. So yeah, the process of authenticity was it's never a straightforward one, unless you're just one of these pure souls who just, you know, have this spiritual immune system inbuilt to prevent you from falling into certain social constructs, etc. What I like to do though is just give you, maybe if I go into maybe my process and how it was for me, maybe that'll help somebody. It's something that I could obviously find easy to talk about. I won't need to give it too much thought and it should just flow nicely, so we'll go with that. What I used to do is I would always, now I'll begin by saying that we are who we are. You know, when we're born we have the true essence of who we are already inbuilt inside us. The personality that we carry is hardwired. The essence associated with that personality is already there. As we go through life, certain situations, scenarios and circumstances provide us an opportunity to show up as authentic as possible. Now, as youngsters, very difficult because of peer pressure, you know, social constructs, those kind of things. Very difficult to be who you are. The fact of the matter is that when you're a youngster, you don't know who you are, and this is why there's a lot of weight behind the term "know thyself." I mean, that really was the gate that opened for me personally in terms of getting to know who I am, and in order to allow me to show up authentically. I'm still in that process, by the way, but we'll get into that a bit further down. Know thyself. Now, for me, that process was directly connected to things like discomfort and the like. Now, it was important for me to know that because I didn't enjoy feeling upset, I didn't enjoy heavy emotions, I didn't enjoy feeling down in the dumps, etc. And so I needed to become aware of who I was when a scenario would present itself that would potentially take me into those spaces, into those frequencies, vibrations, states of being. And so I needed to know that if I've had a lack of sleep, or if I'm hungry, then I need to know myself enough to know that I'm going to have a lower state of being and therefore be more susceptible to being triggered. It's a very simple example, but it's the general idea. I eventually took this idea and spread it thickly over my life and would begin to observe who I was in certain scenarios. Now, we're not going to catch every scenario, and this is where life takes over. Life would make it eventually obvious who we are and which parts of ourselves are out of balance. Now, the idea is, if there's a part of us that resonates with a certain form of negativity or discomfort, that's life trying to bring to our attention that there's an aspect of our being which we are bringing to the surface which isn't in alignment with who we actually are, with what we really are. There's a thought and idea belief system playing through us, and it's those moments of negativity and resistance that rise up within us where our bodies and life itself is trying to communicate that to us. It's trying to bring our attention. It's basically saying, the idea is a Chinese band. I get weird images, but you'll get used to it, right? So the idea is a Chinese burn, okay? When you get a Chinese burn, it creates friction, okay? And it's that friction that's generating the heat and the discomfort, and it's letting you know that there is something that's trying to move, which is not being able to move, and therefore it's generating this uncomfortable feeling. That's basically what discomfort is trying to do for us as people, as humans. If we've got a physical pain, the body generates discomfort within the body, so we can put our attention on that and know that there's something wrong in that area that needs our attention. It needs to be given a certain kind of, again, it's just that word, attention. It needs our attention in a specific way. And so emotional discomfort is exactly that. It's exactly that too. And so when we're going through life and there's situations and circumstances that bring out this discomfort in us, asking the right question about that discomfort is often the answer. And so through that process, you get to know who you are, you get to understand who you are, how you tick, and eventually you get yourself to a point where, apparently, we all got a lot of stuff, you get yourself to a point where there's less of these triggers, life isn't trying to bring so much of these things to your attention, and what's left is other feelings like excitement and curiosity. Now, we spoke about excitement and curiosity in the previous videos and highlight how important they are and how we should move towards them, and it's no different here. You learn a completely different side to yourself when you follow your curiosities and your excitements, and again, it's a further way to know yourself, and it's something we should absolutely do. And so, being dual-natured, having an ego and having the authentic self, we learn to understand our shadow side through this process, and through following excitement and curiosity and aligning with the things that bring you to life, we learn about the kind of person who we are and the things that we enjoy. Now, for me personally, I've always been fascinated with energy, with mind tools, with anything out there. You just need to look at my videos on my Facebook page, or the kind of work that I do, being an energy therapist or making orgone pyramids. These are the things that bring me to life in the ways that they do. From a young age, I was always able to see the energy around a person, a plant, an animal. I've always been very sensitive to energies, and I didn't understand what these things were when I was younger, but it wasn't through it. Then it was through time and exploration and opening myself up to these things, I learned to understand what they are. Now, okay, so we skip forward. You know who you are and you know what you're into. What does this have to do with authenticity? Now, knowing all that about myself and understanding that's who I am, this is what I believe in, this is how I think, this is how I operate. How do you bring that into a world which isn't fully set up for that kind of conversation? You know, it isn't really set up to receive, generally speaking, that angle. You know, it basically meant that I would be very careful about who I spoke to, about what and how deep I would go into it. I would gauge who was in front of me, and then I would see how deep they were prepared to go, or able to go for that matter. And I'd be very careful. Again, I'd pick and choose the kind of people who I would, I guess, open up to in that way. I've got a select few friends who shout out to my people, yeah, you know who you are, who there's no bars, like there's no restrictions, like I just go way into it and we get into it, and these are my people through and through. But life had more in store for me. Life wouldn't let me just stay as that. It wouldn't let me stay in my house and just every now and then pop off a random website article or something like that. It seems there was more to do, and so I was literally being prompted and pushed to be my authentic self. Now, growing up, in one sense, you had the Dan who was okay at football, you know, born and bred in southeast London, one of the lads, you know, a bit of banter, all of that stuff, do you know what I mean? But then on the other hand, you've got Dan who can see energy, who astral traveled, lucid dreams, can move energy with his hands and sense the aura, etc., you know. And I was almost like living two lives. So I had the Dan who was doing all of that, had this human life, but then I had my spiritual life as well. And I was being encouraged to bring them together, and I was like, but they don't go together. I can't just be at football with all the lads and talk about, yeah, energy this and energy that, or crystals and blah blah blah. It just felt like it didn't fit, but I was being encouraged to show up authentically. I thought that if I did that, they would judge and laugh and all of that stuff that we think, you know. but it's something that I needed to do. It's something that I was required to do, and it's something that I'm so grateful that I eventually done. You know, it was a case of speaking even if your voice shakes, and it's something that I try to do daily now. I mean, again, if you follow me on Facebook, my posts are just becoming more and more about who and what I am. As I discover more about myself, the process of authenticity continues, because the more you look into yourself, the more you discover about yourself, is the more you make available from yourself. You know, it's like you've got all these doors inside and you don't know what's behind them until you explore them. So when you get inside and you understand what's there, and once you've explored them and looked inside, you've got these new aspects of yourself that you have given yourself access to. Now once you've given yourself access to that, you have the choice to make those available to others, thus giving them access to that. And this is really, for me personally, the most fundamental part of authenticity. Now, whilst it can be a painful process, quite an uncomfortable process, it is just totally worth it, because there's two ways why this is a brilliant process. Now, on one hand, you showing up as who you are, perfectly flawed, perfectly imperfect, what it does is that you give everybody the perfect opportunity to see who you are. Nothing hidden. This is who I am. This is what I'm about. Okay, now if people don't resonate with you in that way, it's totally fine. You've just given them the perfect opportunity to know who you are, straight down the barrel. This is who I am. Hi, my name's Dan. Yeah, I'm into all of that, but I'm into all of this as well. Nice to meet you. Now they have a perfect opportunity to decide, is this guy for me? Is this girl for me? Maybe it isn't. They don't need to guess, because you've showed up authentically. Now, on the other hand, you also act as a sort of lighthouse. Now, not everybody has somebody to talk to. Just like me in my younger years, like I had my people who I could talk to, you know, family members included, but not everybody has that. Now, if you are standing out there, being the person who you are, as I feel like I do, you give that person the opportunity to find you. You give everybody else who's looking for that the perfect opportunity to find you and to come towards you. You act like a lighthouse. You stand there and you say, hey, this is who I am. This is what I'm about. If you're not for me, it's fantastic. Go and find the people who you are for. But if you're for me, look, I'm over here and I'm doing it like this. Let's join up and have cake and stuff. You know what I'm saying? And this is why it's a good process. It's a perfect setup. You know, we've got things like the law of attraction. You know, and when you stand, and Abraham Hicks talks a lot about aligning. You know, once you're aligned, then the universe just comes together for you. And it's that whole thing. And the more I align with who I am and what I am, and these videos are an extension of that. I mean, it has been difficult for me, like, to get out of my comfort zone, hiding behind fancy pictures and quotes and memes on Facebook, and to get in front of the camera. I've got a salt lamp over there with the with the light bulbs going, and every now and then it lights up, and I think to myself, is this a communication from somewhere potentially? And as soon as I've really got into it, like right my heart space there, the thing goes whew, message maybe. But yeah, authenticity, literally, honestly, just be who you are. Go through the process of knowing thyself. I mean, look into quotes or any sort of existing material that talks about knowing thyself. It's cliche. All the most important sayings and all the most important quotes, like the attitude of gratitude, like I've spoken about in previous videos, or getting into the heart, or be authentic. You know, these are all just words until you actually get into them, and once you get into them, you realize just how layered these things are. Okay, so be authentic, know thyself, get to know who you are. Once you know who you are, bring that out, bring it to the surface. You're a unique individual and you're into what you're into for a reason. If something brings you to life, then Jesus, please just go towards it. Go towards it. Do the things that bring you to life, because we need that. You aren't set up that way for no reason. Okay, so authenticity, a little bit about my journey, how how I went through it. I understand I could have gone to a lot more detail with this, but as always I'm trying to keep these videos as short as possible, and I never do really good with that, but whatever, it's who I am, it's what I am. I'll get better at time should it need to be that way. But yeah, as always, thank you very much for watching my videos. There'll be more in the pipeline, and if you want me to speak about something specific, then yeah, as always, let me know. Any other questions, feel free to inbox me or put it down in the comments. I love all the messages I get, and all the feedback I've got from these videos so far has been great, so thank you so much, and I will see you on the next one.